Alright everybody, so we're back with yet another video of set 7, and it's just more and more updates pretty much, so let's just get right into this. It's a pretty short one, unlike the previous video where it was just super long. So yeah, our first card we've got is Jinbei here. He's a 5 cost yellow. Of course he's a vanilla, but he does have a trigger where you get to return up to one 4 cost or lower character to your opponent's hand, then add this card to your hand. So it looks like a lot of the Straw Hats are going to be having triggers where you get to keep them even if you trigger them, which is really interesting. We haven't really gotten a card like that yet, so yellow's getting stuff that lets you keep hand and also have the trigger ability out. Pretty interesting. So yeah, if your opponent has something you don't want on board that's 4 cost or lower, just return that stuff to the hand, and you also get counter to your hand. So it's pretty good, pretty good. I could see this running in most yellows because you get to return something and you get counter in your hand, so not bad. Next up is Monkey D. Luffy. We have him as a 5 cost, and he is counterable. He's a part of the Straw Hat archetype, so this isn't Thriller Bark at all. So, very interesting. Can't really say what he'd be ran in, but it's when attacking, you trash up to one of your opponent's cost 2 or less characters, like a measly 1-drop blocker or something you don't want on board. Then place as many cost 4 or higher character cards from your trash on the bottom or top on the bottom of your deck in any order. Okay, no, it's just you place as many 4 cost characters from your trash or higher to the top of your deck in any order. For every 3 cards you place, this character gains plus 1,000. That's very interesting. Oh my goodness, so it's place as many. So if you have like 10 cards in there, this card becomes a 16k swing. I could see this really working well in in Rebecca of all things, because in Rebecca you're milling a lot, so like you're gonna have a lot of things in there. Like you could return the Cavendish, you could return the Orlumbus, you could return the 7-drop Luffy. So like it goes on and on and on. Like you could run this in a lot of black things actually, because a lot of the black searches makes you trash cards. So that's very interesting actually. I mean, it's only characters, but like if you're running black, there's a lot of characters that's 4 or higher that has really good abilities, especially when it's black, it's KO ability. So it's pretty interesting. So yeah, I could see this card being pretty good, pretty good. That's pretty overpowered. But we'll see how it has to work. But it's for every 3 cards, so it's not if you return 10. So like if you return 10, you get 3,000. So even then, you get to have some cards on the top of your deck in any order, and you get a 9k swing. That's pretty interesting. So yeah. But I can see this working well in Rebecca. We get another Masked Deuce card. Okay, very interesting. Let's see. On play, if your leader's Portcullis D-Ace, look up to the top 5, reveal a 1 Portcullis D-Ace or red event card. Okay, place the rest. Okay, so it's a searcher for Ace, right? The red leader. It's surprising how this is way better than the Ace card we've already gotten, or the Masked Deuce card we've already gotten. And that card had a chance to be a parallel card, so it's crazy how a 1-drop searcher is better than that. But that's pretty good actually. I feel like that'll help Ace out a lot, because if you don't know, the red Ace leader, its ability is you can trash event cards, and it gives them plus 1,000 counter. So if you need another counter in hand, you could grab a red event after searching with this, or you can just grab one of your 7-drop aces, right? So yeah, even though it is archetype locked, that does really help Ace out quite a bit. So pretty cool for Ace to get its own searcher. We have Iron Body. This is a Cypher Pole card, so it's counter, give up to one of your leader characters plus 4,000. Then if your trash has 10 or more cards, give that character, or give that card another plus 2,000. Okay. Give up to one of your leader characters plus 1,000 is the trigger. Okay. Since this ability isn't archetype locked, you could actually run this in Rebecca, because again, Rebecca is all about milling. You're going to have a lot of stuff in your trash. So like this can actually work well with Rebecca. You get technically a 6,000 power counter for 2 Dawn for Rebecca, so that's not bad. Of course, you could probably run this in Cypher Pole as well, so Lucci, right? But yeah, pretty good for black. We have Snake Dance. It's a 2-drop blue card. It's for Kuja Pirate, so Bo Hancock. Give up to one of your leaders plus 4,000. Then return one of your characters to its owner's hand. Okay, so not bad, right? If you have a card on board that you want to return, you can, because it's not cost locked, but you also get a plus 4k counter. So like you could return a blue card that you have that's really good on the board. It's like if you have a Mihawk on board, you can like swing with him, next turn out counter, return the Mihawk back to your hand, play him again for 9 Dawn, return something else next turn. So it's like, since it's not cost locked, that's actually pretty good. And it's not archetype locked either, so you can run this in any blue deck. And the trigger's not archetype locked either. It's you may return one of your characters to its owner's hand, return up to one of your opponent's cost 5 or less to its owner's hand. So that's a really good blue card that's not archetype locked. That's really good. This trigger is a 3,000 worlds for you and your opponent, because it's for you get to return any character of yours to your hand. But if it's your opponent's, you get to return a 5 or lower. So like that's a 3,000 worlds right there with some bonus abilities. Like if you trigger this, right, you get to return, like say that Mihawk again, right? If you trigger this, you get to return that Mihawk, play him again next turn and return something. So that's pretty good. And you get to return like a cost 5 or lower. So like a queen blocker. That's not bad. So yeah, pretty good cards this update, I might say. We have Bartholomew. Oh my goodness, I couldn't say his name. We have Bardo. He's a blocker again, so very interesting. During your turn, once per turn, if a character is rested from your own effects, draw 1, discard 1. Okay, so it's hand shuffle, and you have to rest a card. So I can see this actually working really well in Kuro, right? Because it's a 3-drop blocker, and Kuro's leader abilities, you have to rest these blue stuff. So with Kuro, and this is on board, you get to hand shuffle and you get to swing again. So that's not bad actually. I'm like, even though the stats are 3-4, but and it's Bartolomeo and Supernova, this can also work well in Jewelry Bonnie, right? The one that's coming out in this set. So yeah, I can see this working well for Kuro. So yeah, not bad. Helps him get hand shuffle in. All right, we finally get Edison, and Edison is the recent one that we heard from in the latest episodes of One Piece. We haven't seen him yet in the anime, but we heard his voice. Yeah, so we finally get Edison as a card. We finally get to see what he looks like, and he's the 2K counter for Vegapunk, so interesting. But his on-play abilities, if you have 2 or less life cards, draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards. Okay, not bad. It's a Kaya, right? It's a Kaya for Vegapunk. It's also a 2K counter, so interesting. It's also one you can play off of the other satellite. And then, of course, like always, all the satellites are going to have the same ability, so the trigger ability, so yeah, I'm not going to keep saying that every time one comes up, but they all have the same trigger ability. But that's really good for Vegapunk to just have hand shuffle, especially since the other satellite lets you play something from your trash when it KOs, so like you can just KO one of your, or you can discard one of your satellites, that's a 5-drop or less, and then you get to have 2 more cards in hand, and then when your other one dies, you get that one that you just discarded. So pretty interesting. Next card is a stage, actually. It's for Boa Hancock. Of course, it's the Isle of Women. It's Amazon Lily. Activate main, you may discard 1 card from your hand and rest this stage. If your leader has Kuja Pirates, return up to one of your characters with Kuja Pirates or Amazon Lily type to its owner's hand. Okay, so pretty good, right? Pretty good. We get to return like our big body Kuja Pirates or Amazon Lily stuffs, like our Boa Hancocks or the 2 sisters. And you get to use their ability again when you summon them. So pretty good for blue. Helps you return stuff on your field to get some more abilities off, so not bad. And it's only a 1-drop. It's a stage that doesn't have a trigger too. Most of the stages do have triggers, but it's just good to see another stage that doesn't have one. Alrighty, and lastly, the best card. We not even saved the best for last. It just is the last card. We have Gina. Gina is another Foxy Pirates card. She's the 2K counter for Foxy, and it is archetype locked because the on-play ability is if your leader has the Foxy Pirates type and the number of Dawn cards on your field is equal or less than the number on your opponent's field, you get to add 1 from your Dawn deck as active. So for a 1-drop, right, that's not bad because you're pretty much gaining the Dawn you used to summon this to ramp, so it's not bad. I just really like the art for this too. I have my own reasons as to why, but she's really cool. The art's really nice. She's very cool. But yeah, just having a nice, cheap ramp ability for Foxy is pretty good because Foxy's mono purple, so you're going to be minusing Dawn a lot, like a lot. So like with Ito Mimizu, you have that. You have this one. I think you have another one too, but I don't remember his name. But just nice having more ramp for Foxy, so I can really see him being actually playable with all the ramp he has. So yeah, we're gonna leave it on Gina because I like her. And that's going to be the update for set 7. Of course, we're going to get more as time goes on. But yeah, that's going to be the update for this one. I'm really excited for the set to come out, especially with all these new cards coming out. Like, we got a lot of good counters. Mass Deuce finally has a good card that helps support the red Ace Leader. This Monkey D. Luffy is pretty questionable, but a pretty interesting ability as well. Again, I can see this working in Rebecca. And then the Bartolomeo, I see working in Kuro because you're resting stuff with leader ability and all that, or like you're using the 5-drop Django to rest something. So, yeah. Or I think it's Django resting one of your opponents. Either way, he works well for Kuro because you're resting stuff to attack against, which helps you draw one, discard one. But, yeah, that's going to be it for this video, and I'll see you in whatever update comes next.